The weekend is finally here and we will be giving you guys our best predictions of game week 28 of the English Premier League. Be sure to watch the video to the end because I will be giving my best two-leg parley accumulating to a total of 2+ odds. This parley has a 90% probability win rate, so don't miss out on this opportunity. Always remember to bet responsibly and do not bet with money you cannot afford to lose. So without further ado, let us get right into it. Two Premier League teams battling for a top 4 finish lock horns at the City Ground on Saturday lunchtime as third-placed Nottingham Forest play host to fourth-placed Manchester City. The citizens are looking to complete the double over the tricky trees for the second successive season after securing a comfortable 3-0 victory in the reverse fixture at the Etihad Stadium in early December. Man City have had almost a full week to rest and gain some valuable time on the training ground, particularly the younger players and new signings, much to the delight of Guardiola, who will hope to have a refreshed side firing against a well-organized Forest backline that has been one of the most difficult to break down in the PL this season. The citizens did score 3 goals against Forest earlier this season, though, and scored 11 more in their 4 meetings prior to that, so they will certainly back themselves to find the net on Saturday. Forest will also fancy their chances of making the net ripple with leading marksman Wood up top, but we are backing the visitors to just edge this contest and climb up to third. So I'm going to go for a 1-2 Man City win, and my betting tip is Man City team total over 5.5 corner kicks, and we will go for the same pick for our 2-leg parley bet. Two Premier League teams harboring realistic aspirations of securing European football for next season do battle at the Amex Stadium on Saturday afternoon as Brighton and Hove Albion play host to Fulham. The Seagulls will be seeking revenge against the Cottagers after they were beaten 3-1 in the reverse fixture at Craven Cottage 3 months ago. Fulham boast an impressive Premier League record against Brighton and have also looked strong away from home in recent weeks, so they should be confident of success on the South Coast this weekend. However, Brighton have enjoyed an upturn in form and having already beaten fellow European hopefuls Chelsea, Newcastle and Bournemouth in the last few weeks, we are backing the Seagulls to claim at least a share of the spoils on home soil. So I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, and my betting tip is both teams to score. Crystal Palace will be looking to move closer to the top half of the Premier League table when they welcome relegation-threatened Ipswich Town to Selhurst Park on Saturday afternoon. Victory for the Eagles will see them complete their first league double over the Tractor Boys since the 2010-11 championship season after they secured a narrow 1-0 win at Portman Road in the reverse fixture 3 months ago. Considering the contrasting form of these two teams, Crystal Palace will be regarded as favourites to come out on top against an Ipswich side who are struggling to grind out positive results in their quest to avoid the drop. Even without the presence of top scorer Matida in attack, the Eagles will still back themselves to pose a threat against a defensively frail Tractor Boys outfit who have failed to keep a clean sheet in their last 8 PL games, conceding 24 goals in the process. So I'm going to go for a 3-1 Crystal Palace win, and my betting tip is total over 2 goals. First meets worst at Anfield on Saturday afternoon, as Premier League leaders Liverpool host basement boys Southampton in a true mismatch on paper. The Reds return to their title pursuit on the back of a scarcely believable 1-0 win over Paris Saint-Germain in the first leg of their Champions League last 16 tie, while the Saints' last outing ended in a 4-0 thumping at the hands of Chelsea. What is a mismatch on paper will surely prove to be a mismatch on the field too, as even a rotated Liverpool side should overwhelm their championship-bound visitors with ease. The 58-point chasm between the two sides ought to be reflected in the scoreline, and the Reds can then put their feet up for Manchester United versus Arsenal on Sunday. So I'm going to go for a 5-0 Liverpool win, and my betting tip is Liverpool to win 2-0. Sat either side of the top half line in the Premier League table, Brentford and Aston Villa do battle at the G-Tech Community Stadium on Saturday evening. The Bees have had over a week to reflect on a 1-1 home draw with a rejuvenated Everton, while the Lions put one foot into the quarter-finals of the Champions League with a 3-1 slaying of Club Brugge in midweek. Aston Villa's struggles after Champions League matches are well documented, as the Lions have failed to win any of their last 7 Premier League games immediately following a top-level European tie. That shocking streak is likely to continue in an eventful stalemate this weekend, as while Brentford cannot buy a win at home right now, Villa do not travel well in the Premier League and may already have one eye on their next Champions League engagement. So I'm gonna go for a 2-2 draw, and my betting tip is both teams to score. And for the second leg of our parley, we will go for the same pick. So if you pair this pick with Man City team total over 5.5 corner kicks, you should get a plus money. Still thriving under the wily wing of David Moyes, Everton endeavour to stretch their unbeaten Premier League run to 8 matches on Saturday night, when they rock up to Molineux to face Wolverhampton Wanderers. The Toffees most recently recovered from a 1-goal deficit to rescue a 1-1 draw away at Brentford, while Wolves' fiery FA Cup clash with Bournemouth ended with the same scoreline before Vita Pereira's men were dumped out on penalties. 19 of Everton's 30 Premier League goals this season have come in the first half of games, and given Wolves' struggles when conceding first at Molineux, that statistic does not spell optimism for Pereira's men. Also missing the attacking guile of leading marksman Cunha, Saturday's match has the makings of a painful watch for the Wolves faithful, whose side could fall victim to a Moyes defensive masterclass. So I'm gonna go for a 0-1 Everton win, and my betting tip is Everton to score. Chelsea will look to build further on positive momentum when they welcome relegation candidates Leicester City to Stamford Bridge in the Premier League on Sunday. This fixture will pit home manager Enzo Maresca against the club he left in the summer to move to West London, and he has already earned a win over the Foxes this season, beating them 2-1 in the reverse back in November. There could be many similarities to this fixture for Chelsea to the one against Southampton in their last league outing, with Leicester also limping towards relegation. 11 defeats in 12 games is a damning statistic, and it will be a very tall order for the visitors to improve on that here, despite beating Chelsea's rivals Tottenham Hotspur recently. So I'm gonna go for a 4-0 Chelsea win, and my betting tip is total over 2.5 goals. Seeking to snap another morale-sapping 2-game losing run, Tottenham Hotspur take on Premier League top 4 outsiders Bournemouth in North London on Sunday afternoon. The Lily-Whites' Europa League adventure is on the brink of ending after their 1-0 last 16 first-leg loss to AZ Alkmaar, while the Cherries are riding high on the back of reaching the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. Expect a clinic in high pressing between Spurs and Bournemouth, who rank second and first respectively in pressures, resulting in a turnover in the final third in the current Premier League season. While Postecoglou's men do have our backing to stop the rot, Bournemouth ought to capitalize on the Lily-Whites' European fatigue to leave with a share of the points. So I'm gonna go for a 1-1 draw, and my betting tip is total over 10.5 corner kicks. This is my banker pick of the weekend. Milestones are on the line for both teams in Sunday's colossal Premier League contest at Old Trafford, where an out-of-sorts Manchester United host an Arsenal side whose hopes of glory are hanging by the thinnest thread. While victory for the Red Devils would give them their 100th triumph over the Gunners across all competitions, the North London Giants could win successive top-flight games at Old Trafford for the first time in the Premier League era. After 2 toothless Premier League performances and a dazzling Champions League display, confidently predicting which version of Arsenal's attack will show up on Sunday is an impossible ask, but a defense-heavy Man United should not afford the visitors as much time and space as PSV did. However, the hosts are working with 2 fewer days' rest, have minimal options for change, and will likely see their ineffective strikers bullied by Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba, so yet another Old Trafford win and clean sheet for Arsenal is the only result we can envisage. So I'm gonna go for a 0-1 Arsenal win, and my betting tip is total over 8.5 corner kicks. West Ham welcome Newcastle on Monday in the Premier League, with the host motivated by the possibility of closing the gap in the table on the visitors. On the other hand, the latter could distance themselves even further with a win in this exciting round 28 match. The Magpies travel to their next away match on Monday having performed a tolerable average of 1.9 goals in 10 matches. They scored a total of 19 goals, whilst shipping 17 goals against. An average of 1.7 goals against a game. They hung on to 3 clean sheets in this streak. Newcastle and West Ham seem to find it tough getting their defensively lines in order, as they both concede too many goals. We hope the trend continues this coming Monday. So I'm gonna go for a 1-2 Newcastle win, and my betting tip is both teams to score.